Hello and welcome to Morning Call for Friday. It's Friday, the 18th of January 2019. I'm Fab from Hamburg. Hello. It's beautiful outside. You wouldn't believe it. Hamburg today is a veritable winter wonderland. It's just amazing. It's just a blue sky. The trees are full of snow. It looks amazing. Anyway, first thing, good old coffee. 7 of 9 in the chat already agitating. No head, slacker. Yeah, no head for today. Gotta change it up. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Galtaran. Thanks for the sub. And also I have to thank Mark, who cheered. The first one to cheer. I think that was yesterday, but thank you. Turn the camera around. Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's around the corner. Like if that window is really boring. There's just houses there. I have actually been thinking of getting like an outside camera or something. I don't know. Maybe when we hit partner or something, I need to do that. We'll see. Coffee is so good. Anyway, let's get into the tech news of the day. What do we got today? Unbelievable, but it's true. Microsoft is pushing out the Windows 10 update again. The October update, like from last October, that they pushed, then it actually deleted people's files, like their personal directories, really bad. And then it had all kinds of other problems. It actually, they tried to push it again and it broke other stuff. And now they're doing it again. I love the register, by the way. Shout out to the register because I just have to read this out. They're so good. After spending some time it is over 3 months since Microsoft first had a crack at releasing the Windows 10 update, before pulling it a scant few days after users reported all manners of issues, including an infamous file deletion problem. After spending some time waiting for the screams to die down and fixing the worst bugs, Microsoft quietly began making the upgrade available to users who went looking for it, and now has finally pulled the lever to start shoveling the code onto compatible devices. Now they're saying you only get this is the automatic Windows update thing, right? You only get this if your device is compatible. What they're actually saying is, so the register says here, the rollout is going to be phased, and the gang at Redmond have told users that it will only send the updates to devices it believes, quote, will have the best update experience based on our next generation machine learning model. Thankfully, the buzzword of the day, AI, wasn't used. Yeah, but like, what the hell, Microsoft? You're using AI to determine what machines are compatible to your update. How about you make your update, your Windows update, work on every Windows device? Like you did for the last 30 years. What the hell's going on over at Redmond? Oh. Unbelievable. In other news, in some cloud news, let's talk a bit about Amazon. Amazon has said they have made available a service called AWS Backup, which is a backup service for like all their Amazon Web Services stuff. So DynamoDB, it's nothing to do with German football club, I think. Elastic Block Store, Elastic File System, Amazon Relational Database Service, AWS Storage Gateway. It's unbelievable to me, actually. I'm not a you might be surprised to hear that I'm not a full-time web developer and I haven't done serious development in ages. So it was always surprising. It was surprising to me to hear that Amazon didn't have that in AWS already. But apparently, there had been like just companies doing this, like third-party services. Now they are fucked because Amazon is entering the market, and I think that means. It's just tied in, right? You just use the AWS thing. They have like warm storage and cold storage, so archival storage at different prices. I mean, they're Amazon. They can store this everywhere. If you might, I mean, your backups are probably not safer than like if they're encrypted, of course. They're probably nowhere safer than with Amazon, because if the internet gets destroyed to an extent that the Amazon stuff is gone, I mean, the internet's not worth using anymore, I think, these days. Just so much stuff running on their system. You might have heard Slack, the collaboration company, kind of like I think it's kind of like, modern IRC, basically. It's what you use if you don't use Discord. If you're a cool guy, obviously you use Discord if you're a gamer. But otherwise, you use Slack. Now, Slack always had a logo that was basically just a hash. And they have announced a new logo, which has met with some criticism, one could say, because it's a fucking disaster. So this is their new logo. And so they changed the hash, they kept the colors and changed it to something that I saw described on, I looked at it and I thought that's a bunch of penises. That looks like 4 penises in funny colors. Okay, they're just very diverse penises. Somebody on Twitter has described this today as a swastika made up of penises. This is a very good description. Once you see the penises in there, you can't unsee it. I don't think that's a good look for you, Slack. 7 of 9 saying about the Amazon thing. As obviously, like, there's a little bit of stream delay always, so I'm always catching up. Yeah, I mean, Jeff Bezos' ex-wife probably gets half of the storage space now. That's true. She will. And Igwig's also there. Hello, Igwig. Nice to see you. Yeah, and that's like logo that it's penises. I mean, they probably spent a lot of money on that rebranding. Oh man. Also, I have lots of register stories today. I just love the register. They're great. There's not so much happened today, but just some like fun random tidbits. So you might have seen that the Chinese put a probe on the moon. Speaking of the Chinese, their space agency, I didn't look this up now, haven't prepared this. The logo for the China National Space Administration is the most blatant Star Trek ripoff I have ever seen. Like, their logo, that's actually that guy looks like a Vulcan too. Anyway, their logo is like a mixture of the Starfleet logo with like the Federation. I mean, okay, that's the UN kind of wreath, but I mean, come on. Most blatant rip off. Anyway, they put a probe on the moon, and they had a plant. They had a plant growing. It was like the first plant on the moon. It's now dead. It wasn't much of a plant anyway. And then the register said RIP 2019 to 2019. Space plant is now dead. Yeah, apparently the moon moon night was coming, so they powered down the lander. And now, yeah, press F to pay respect. Yeah, it's effed. It hasn't survived the night. It sounds like they were kind of not expecting it to, but they announced it like as a grandiose experiment. It's like, well, we'll just have this plant germinate and then immediately die. Well, that helped science. Now we know that we can't grow plants on the moon. Great. Mega Slip is pressing F. Yeah, we then have some gaming news. So X-Plane, I love X-Plane, a great flight simulator, in my opinion. I always thought, I'm going to make myself some enemies here. I always thought better than Microsoft Flight Simulator. X-Plane 11 has been out for a while now. They have now released X-Plane 11.30. Seven of Nine is great. He's on fire today. The lunar night could not possibly be much of a surprise. No, you'd think not, right? Anyway, Explain 1130 has a few new features. They put the Burj, I'm probably saying this wrong, the Burj Khalifa, the highest building in the world in Dubai. They put that in as the scenery. It looks great. It does look great, and it's a good landmark to orientate yourself when you're flying into Dubai. I would guess. They have a new ATC voice system that they've improved, and that now the community can improve the pronunciation of. I think it uses some kind of open voice generation software. Speaking of Amazon, it doesn't sound as good as the Amazon Polly, which is really good, which has been used in quite a lot of video games. It's in what's that game with the submarines that's really good? Damn it, why can't I remember this? Chat. Oh no, chat's probably too much on a delay. What's that awesome submarine game on the alien planet where people are shouting at their podcatchers right now? Subnautica. It's Subnautica. Ha! I got it before the chat could write me on the. I just had to Google sub games, and then I had like Deep Sea Fun Time Supreme. Yeah, pretty much. Das Boot, and then I had to just put Alien Planet in, and immediately got Subnautica. Little look behind the scenes there, and that's how I work when I go podcasting. It's all Google. So new voice generation system, also new particle effects. So if your engine's on fire, it now looks a lot more spectacular. No, I think that is good. Also, somebody told me yesterday, so I didn't know this. So there is a German roguelike game, which has been in development since 1994. And originally on Linux, I think, called Edom, Ancient Domains of Mystery. Typical like text ASCII roguelike, like a NetHack basically. And I had no idea. So originally developed by a guy from Gelsenkirchen, so close to my old stomping grounds. And so he's been developing this for like pretty much 25 years. And they're now doing a Kickstarter where they're doing a pen and paper version of the game. And I actually had a look at the game yesterday. So it's quite cool. It's on Steam. The original the roguelike. It actually it's like many roguelikes these days. Okay, I'm gonna show you a screenshot. It doesn't look like that. I think you can still run it in that ASCII style if you really like old school. But they have like many roguelikes. If it's just like art overlay, you can have basically. It looks like a modern. Well, it looks like Ultima Online pretty much, which is more modern than ASCII. Anyway, looks like really cool roguelike. I'm going to be playing that. But the Kickstarter, they're doing a pen and paper campaign, and it sounds really old school. It's like really old school D&D, but with a like modern look and everything, but like really old school, like with lots of dice and stuff. Sounds fun. If you're into that, if you're into pen and paper, and maybe you have, other than me, you have heard of Edom before. You might be interested in this. And yes, it supports Linux. It's originally on Linux. I think the original version is Curses. Curses. No, the UI framework. Anyway, speaking of my old stomping grounds, our last story to round it out here today is from my hometown the town I was born in, of Duisburg in Germany, in the Ruhr area. Good old Duisburg. We have pretty much the oldest building in Duisburg. Duisburg was bombed heavily in the Second World War because of all the industry. I mean, there's coal mines, steel works, everything. The works, that's where all the tanks were made back in the day. ThyssenKrupp is from Duisburg. originally, and yeah. Anyway, pretty much the whole inner city was like leveled in World War II, so we don't have many old buildings. There's two. Ricardo Stallman approves. Yes, little deep lore knowledge there. Deeplore.sixgun.org if you don't know. Anyway, Duisburg pretty much leveled in Second World War. Not many old buildings. Just the courthouse is like the main the council building still there, and added the Salvatorkirche, which is a really old church, a Gothic church. Like many churches in the inner city, I think the Allies often let them, like the cathedral in Cologne, they just let them stand, so they had something the bombers could orientate themselves on. Anyway, that church is going with the times, because you can now give money to the church without, like, with digital. It's like a card terminal. It's like an NFC card terminal. In German, digitaler Klingelbeutel. In German, it's called Klingelbeutel. It's like a bell bag. I don't know. Maybe they used to have bells, so you could hear when somebody threw money in, so you felt bad if you didn't, I guess. I'm not a very... you might be surprised to hear that I'm not a very religious person. So anything I know about the church, basically from history, studying history, but it wasn't my strong suit. Contactless Christ, Mega Slipper says. Yeah, pretty much. I just love that they're going with the time. My old hometown, man. Anyway, that's pretty much it for today. I hope you have a good Friday. I'm gonna go to the press ball in Hamburg today. I have a tuxedo ready over there. Need to press it. I'll probably be posting pictures on Twitter. Need to press the shirt, and then lovely bow tie, and I'm going to a ball. I hope I haven't forgotten the wall steps my wife has taught me. I hope you have a nice Friday, maybe a short one. Maybe you can make it a short one at work, and maybe have a good weekend. It's so lovely outside. I just want to go outside, but I still have some work to do. Anyway, have a nice day. I'll catch you next week, definitely next week, for more morning call. Until then, have a good one. Goodbye. Where's the button I need to push?